Well, ladies and gentlemen, after winning the Champions League in the last episode, our time with Hertha Berlin and this series is coming to an end. But we have got one more episode where we're going to review our final season in charge with Hertha Berlin. And then we're going to simulate forward and see how they're doing in a few years' time. First of all, welcome back, or welcome if you're just finding the series. This is the last episode, but have a look around the channel or go back and watch the rest of it. It was a very, very fun series. We have just, as I mentioned, won the Champions League course with Hertha Berlin in this Journeyman. Finally getting to the end of it, a long few years in. These were our new arrivals this season and have all played a pretty big part, I feel, to getting to that Champions League and the Bundesliga. Fernando Silva came in for 4.2 million. What a signing he's been for that money as well. 36 appearances for us with 14 goals and 14 assists to his name and a 7.46 rating. Calvin Phillips came in. We were only ever intending to get him just for this one season, and he's fully done the job here. 6.5 million. He's made 16 starting appearances and 13 off the bench, so being used as a squad player, like we said, but he's been really good when he has played. We then bought Edworthy, of course, for Man United, which was in the January transfer in over £95 million. He's also come in and contributed quite effectively when we need him to. With 10 starting appearances, he's got 9 goals and his 3 assists as well. We then got Gerardo, who is obviously a wonder kid still. He hasn't played a huge amount, to be fair. He's very much, again, been a squad sort of rotation player with his 11 appearances and another 11 off the bench. But been fully good. Bastian's, the board are very, very unhappy. We did pay £53 million for him, and he turned out Castillo, obviously, over on that left-hand side, suddenly jumped up and progressed substantially. So he kind of got relegated down to the second choice option on that left-hand side, which is quite expensive, really, for your substitute second left-back, £53 million. So I kind of understand why they're not happy with that. We had Schnellner, of course, just as our backup goalkeeper. The guy's name I still can't pronounce, Milicinchik, something like that. Obviously, very much rotation as well. And then we've got Bucho came in from PSG on a free. Hasn't actually started any games for us yet. And, of course, we are mentioning a season to remember. We came first in the Bundesliga. We won Hertha Berlin's first Bundesliga in a very, very long time. It's been Bayern Munich, of course, for years and years and years. We sealed it on the final day of the season, and we did eventually finish 3 points above Bayern Munich. A substantial goal difference above Bayern Munich. And we've had a really, really good season. We've only ever lost 3 games. 2 of them were in one episode. We can see them here. Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. And we lost our opening game of the season against RB Leipzig. But that was it. There we go. We also obviously won UEFA Champions League. We expect to reach the quarter-final. We ended up winning it. It's quite a nice run when you think about it. Beating Liverpool 3-0 in the final. We beat Manchester United 4-1 in the semi. PSG, of course, as well. We've managed to beat them 5-2. We had a really, really good run of it. Real Madrid was quite nice after going 2-1 down to come back and beat them 4-0 as well. There are some biggish teams in there that we've managed to beat this season. DFB Pokal, of course, we expect to reach the semi-final. We did get to the final of that. Fortunately, we were beaten by Bayern Munich 2-0 in the final. And then we've got the Super Cup, which is the trophy that starts the season, much like the Charity Shield. We did beat Bayern Munich in that one. It was 2-2, and then we won on penalties. So we've won our 3 trophies this season, which I think is a pretty good haul for our final season. Biggest win, of course, we never see this one. It's the traditional season opener in the DFB Pokal, but it's always against the lower league German team, so we always score a bundle of goals in that. Match, remember, we did have 5-0 win against Augsburg. That was back in November. As you can see, 4 goals there for Lorenzo Luca and 1 from Fabio Silva. And then goal of the season, the 10th minute goal from Fabio Silva. Let's see if we can go have a quick look-see at that one. So here we go. Let's have a look at how this goal went down. Oh, it's a Fabio Silva free kick. I mean, that's the goal. It's a very, very good one, getting goal of the season. He then went on to score some more, including a penalty, but that was the main one. It was a very good goal. Club reputation, we've gone from 4.5 to 5-star this season. The board is saying this will help us to attract a higher caliber of player to the club and help our support base grow and greatly improve our commercial revenue. We can have a look here over at revenue. Our sponsorship has gone up fractionally. Broadcast revenue has gone up a fair bit. Corporate and hospitality gone up a tiny bit. Competition prize money, obviously we've jumped by about 44 million there, which I'd imagine most of that is down to the Champions League and a bit of the Bundesliga as well. And match day commercial and retail, we've got a bit as well. Our top shirt sellers then were Badino, Tetrahoa, Luca, Funk and Traore. And this was our main lineup for this season. So Unai Simon in goal, Castillo, Valdez, Lacroix and Funk is our back four. Diallo, Traore, Silva, Badino, Tetrahoa and Luca. The only one I'd say is wrong in there is Traore shouldn't be there. It should be Schubert. But other than that, that is pretty much exactly the 11 we used. Having a look at our awards then, the fans player of the season is Lorenzo Luca. Young player of the season is Fernando Silva. He also gets signing of the season, and we just saw goal of the season. Our top goal scorer, once again, Lorenzo Luca with 36 goals. The most assists goes to Tetrahoa with 15. Most player of the match awards was Badino with 7. And Lorenzo Luca got the highest average match rating with an 8.0, which is a bit insane. He also once again breaks the most overall goals by player in a season, the 36 this season. He has broken that own record for the last 3 seasons in a row now, which is a bit insane. Most goals by a player match is Badino with 4. Most goals by a player in a league match is Lorenzo Luca with 4. Unai Simon actually breaks the record for the most clean sheets by a player, which is mad when you think at the start of the season we were a bit cagey about playing him because he seemed to be very, very leaky between the posts. But he has finished with 21 clean sheets, and the highest transfer fee received, our club record fee now of basically £100 million for Freeman to go over to PSG. And yeah, 3 trophies for us then. It's a very, very good season. Just having a look at what the board are going to want for the season ahead. They just, having a look at this, end of next season, want us to be qualifying for the Champions League. So they want a top 3 finish, then to become recognised as best of rest, and then they want us to win the Bundesliga, but they don't want us to do that for another 3 seasons. We've done that this season. You would hope that's pretty achievable. It's not going to matter to us, because we, of course, are not going to be here. We're not going to do the team meeting, anything like that. Because what we are about to do is retire. We're going to save the game, and I'm going to go away and retire. Do we want to resign as manager of Hertha Berlin and retire from football with immediate effect? Yes, we do. We've done our job. We've gone. We've won the league. That was what we needed, and now it's time for us to retire. Dedication factor. Remember to call your family and ask for more sick leave. That's about right. And now, though, we need to simulate forward a few years and see how Hertha Berlin are getting on without us and what manager they put at the club to replace us now we've just run the Champions League, retired, and run off into the distance. Don't forget, of course, though, if you want to continue to save, if you fancy yourself as the next manager of Hertha Berlin, or maybe you want to take over a different team like Manchester United with Mbappe in this universe, if you pop down to my description, you'll find a link to my Patreon. The highest tier members on my Patreon do get access to all these save files. So once we finish a save like this Journeyman, we grab the save file, chuck it up on Patreon. You can then download it and put it in your Sports Interactive Football Manager folder on your computer, and you'll be able to continue on from exactly this point with your save. Maybe you want to be the next Hertha Berlin manager. But for now, let's get over to simulating. We'll be back in a few seconds and we'll have a look at how Hertha Berlin are getting on. So it's the 2nd of June 2036, 5 years into the future after Hertha Berlin's triumphant Champions League win. How have they been doing? Well, looking at the squad, they still seem to have some world-class players at their disposal. The 2 best players currently at the club are Giovanni Chirico, an Italian right-back, and Nemeth, a Slovakian centre-back, both of which are signings I organised to happen in the summer. But as we won the Champions League and ended up retiring, we never saw them used on the channel. Schubert is still at the club and is now a genuinely elite attacking midfielder, and there are some other familiar faces, like Etihari, Badino, Funk, and Castillo. It's interesting to see that all the players that remain from our Champions League winning team are at the top of this list. There are also some great new players coming through the squad. like Frederick Newman, who is 20 years old and has been purchased from Bayer Leverkusen this season. So what happened to the other players that were here? Well, just over 2 weeks after we left, Manchester United finally decided to make a transfer bid for Techahoa, and Hertha Berlin managed to squeeze £145 million out of them for him, making him Berlin's highest ever transfer fee received. After a few seasons at Manchester United, he has then gone to Juventus for another £119 million. In the same summer, Mykolenko heads to Liverpool for £2.2 million, Kevin Valdez leaves for Leicester for £43.5 million, Diallo heads to Inter Milan for £40.5 million, before eventually ending up at Manchester City this season. Calvin Phillips goes to Nantes for £2.4 million, Cordario Silva heads to Mönchengladbach for £19 million, and Renan leaves the club permanently to join Chelsea for a further £26 million. The following summer, Fernando Silva leaves for AC Milan in a deal costing the Italian giants £39.5 million. Which isn't a bad return on a player that cost us £4.2 million originally. In-game he has performed well there and has joined Juventus this season for another £92 million. We obviously found a very rare, very cheap gem there. More of the old guard leaves in the summer of 2033, with Lacroix heading to Newcastle, Lorenzo Luca leaving for Chelsea on a free, where he plays 5 games, scores 3 goals and is then sold for £12 million. Traore joins another London team in the shape of Arsenal for £20.5 million. Bastions heads back to England to join Spurs for £42.5 million, although he is now back in Germany at our rivals Bayern Munich, where he was sold for £20 million. Cavarat also joined Bayern Munich, although he's now at Lazio, as we can see, where he eventually left after 2 seasons at Bayern Munich for another £8.25 million. The last of our team to leave is Unai Simon, who eventually heads to Sevilla on a free in July of 2034. So did Hertha Berlin manage to win another Champions League? Unfortunately, no they didn't, with their only time winning that trophy still being in 2031. They have won another Bundesliga in 2034 and added a DFB Pokal to the trophy cabinet in 2034 as well. In addition to that, they've won another Super Cup and UEFA Super Cup since we left. All in all, it's not been a bad few years. Although this season's 3rd place finish in the Bundesliga is their worst place finish since we took over in 2027. Which isn't ideal. Hertha Berlin have been a fantastically fun team to play with though, and it was nice to win a Champions League with them rather than one of the so-called bigger names in football. That'll be the end of this series now though, with the objective of going from non-league football to winning the Champions League fulfilled. It's time for a new series, new challenges, and hopefully even more silverware. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate if you hit the subscribe button before you leave, and if you also hit the notification bell, YouTube will let you know as soon as we launch a new series on the channel. Till next time though guys, thank you for your support on this series and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye!